Welcome to Red Chair Chats, where we share real stories of resilience, growth, and success from the agents and leaders of Keller Williams Greater Springfield.
You ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, my first question. Would you...
No.
No? Oh
No,
my God, they're
no.
my favorite.
Okay. I'm ready now.
All right. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? You have to.
One horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized
Horses.
I think I could run away from the horses if they're that small, fast.
That's 100 duck-sized horses.
Actually, their size of the
horsepower.
duck. That's true. We'll go with the one duck. We'll go with the one duck.
That's as big as a horse.
I think I can use my martial arts background to like kick its legs out, or I don't know. So
Well, it's got 4, but okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
My next question is...
That's a good point to start.
It's a
Throw
really
me
great
off.
question. Yeah. What is something completely useless that you're really good at? I'll go first. Flex arm hang. What's yours?
I can, which I made a video on that. I can spin a basketball on all 10 fingers and all 10 knuckles. All fingers
Without stopping.
and all knuckles.
You're like the Harlem
100%.
Globetrotters. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into this.
Yeah.
Brent, what got you into real estate and what brought you to KW?
So I invest in real estate and I was a loan officer for 18 years. So I've been in the business for a little bit and I started investing in real estate in 2018 and loved that part of it. I started with flipping and then I moved into long-term holds and I've got a few midterm rentals as well. But last year, just kind of thinking about making a change, my wife suggested, why don't you get your real estate license? And
It's always somebody, right?
yeah,
Like, you should do this.
Yes, and in reality, she was in the process of getting her license, and just I was thinking, I'm not sure what I want to do. If I stay in lending, do I not? And she suggested, why don't you get your license? And I'm 47, gonna be 48 this year, and scary, right? To stop and start all brand new. But I kind of thought, either way, I've got a hustle business, so I might as well do something that might pay me a little bit more money. So
Fair.
honestly, that's what got me into it.
Okay. Well, what brought you to Keller Williams?
So Keller Williams was always my choice, like literally, bleed red, baby. Yeah. So so I worked with several Keller agents when I was a lender, and worked with other agents in other brokerages, and I loved the way they handled their business. They seemed extremely trained and calm,
Calm.
Yes, because being able to problem solve, as we all know, is a huge part of our business. So when I would have to problem solve, the Keller agents were just easier. I'm not gonna lie, they just were. So
It's like we're doing something right.
yes,
Okay,
right.
okay.
So there was I knew that you guys provided a ton of training for your agents as well. And I knew, again, changing careers, not ever doing this side of it, I needed help.
Yeah.
So I immediately joined the coaching program. Yeah.
Well, so glad you did.
Yes.
So
yes,
glad you did.
Yes.
Tell me a pivotal moment early in your career.
So it was a fork in the road. It was my very, very first contract and it fell out. And it was a large one, $620,000.
Which is quite a bit more than the average dollar sale.
Yeah.
And this was your first transaction?
It was. So this was in October of last year. So I got my license back middle of September of 24, and we went to Bold, and you know how they force you to call people in bold.
Encourage. We don't force anything.
Then one of those people that I called, they were like, actually, I have a referral for you. So I was like, oh, wow, that worked pretty good. So
it's like we know what we're talking
right.
about. Okay,
so they gave me this referral, started talking, started showing houses in beginning of October, went under contract, and with Tyler Richardson, actually another KW agent. So, and I know him well, so I was very happy. It was him and my very first one to just kind of help me through it. And we got through inspection, we got through appraisal, and he was being transferred here from Lowe's. And Lowe's called him and said, actually, we're going to need you down in Arkansas, so go ahead and cancel that contract house
So
that you're
simple.
buying, which is, yeah, and that's,
simple.
as
Contract,
a
what?
new agent, I immediately panicked. I honestly don't remember if I called you or not.
You did.
I did?
I remember this story.
Okay, yes. And so ultimately, Lowe's had to write the seller a very large check to get out of the contract. And that's what we settled on. So super sad face because I was counting my dollars there on my.
Get in real estate, they said. It's so fun.
Yes, on my compensation, I was counting my dollars already. But
Yeah.
no, because we were through inspection, through appraisal.
You were smooth
Yeah,
sailing,
I mean,
and then
we
boom.
were 2 weeks out. We were 2 weeks out from closing. So, pivotal moment, right? So I could have been super upset,
Yeah, what'd you
frustrated.
learn from that?
Having my loan background did help because, I've been 100% commission for quite some time. It hurt, and I learned, but realized this probably ain't going to be the last one
Yeah.
that falls out and that is going to have something happen that's catastrophic that just can't be helped by the buyer or seller. So in that moment, you got to still step up and be the professional in that moment, and move on. And because if I did panic or be down for 2 or 3 more weeks, I may not have gotten my first deal, which was like beginning of December. So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Question. Tell us about a recent success or challenge.
Recent success. So
And how you overcame it.
yes. So I'm gonna call out a non-Keller Williams agent, but I'm not gonna say their name.
Okay, good. Don't.
Yes. So I had a very seasoned agent challenge me on asking me to pay, or asking my client, the seller, to pay for their buyer's extra inspection that they wanted to do. And luckily I knew my contracts, so study your contracts.
Yes. Line by line.
Yes, and I knew that wasn't going to fly. I don't know if it was one of those things that she knew I was a newer agent and just kind of wanted to see if I would catch it or just roll over and go to my seller and be like, hey, sorry, they want us to pay for this. So I kind of just stood my ground. I cited the exact verbiage on the contract.
As per the contract.
I did actually say per the contract. And I was just trying to be nice. I was like, I'm sure you know this, being as seasoned agent as you are, but the contract states this. And she stumbled a little bit and still tried to get me to possibly pay. And I said, well, if you're plainly asking me that my seller to pay for your inspection, that's not going to happen. So I'm happy to give you extra days.
So you stood your ground.
I did.
And came up with a compromise?
So it worked. I mean, basically we extended the extra specialist days that is allowed. And that's what I told her. You're totally welcome to do that if you need it. I totally understand why you do need it. And you're welcome to get your extra inspection. So ultimately that, I saved, I guess, my seller a little bit of money by not paying for that.
Yeah.
And just learn that, you need to know your stuff so you can. I'm not saying, no, don't be flexible. I'm just saying know your contracts, know what's right and wrong, and stand up for what's right for your client.
So be the fiduciary for your client.
Be the fiduciary for your
I
client.
like that.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So, real talk here. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel stuck or unsure?
Let me do my wardrobe change for this.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Let me do my different.
Pause.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm ready to
Okay.
proceed.
Thank God you dressed professionally for me.
Okay, yeah. What was the question again?
Well, yeah. My question is, real talk. First off, is this a romper or a rompim? Like, what do we call this outfit?
I mean, we can go with rompim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Is
a
that-
romper?
is that
A
PG-13
romper?
or?
A man romper.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
We'll
get
just
back to
say,
that.
yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel stuck or unsure?
Well, I mean, Shanna, here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
Clearly.
Okay. And, I wake up in the morning at P Excellence. And, I'm just kind of one of those big, fat, hairy American winning machines.
Yeah, so you'd never feel stuck.
I mean, if you're not first, you're last.
Clearly.
Right?
Yes.
So.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, real answer.
Yeah. No, I mean, I believe all of that. But clearly somebody like you
Okay,
never
stuck
feels
or unsure.
stuck
I
or
mean,
unsure in anything that they do.
I'm pretty sure I love this outfit, but
Yeah, I love it too.
yeah. So yes,
I think
all
I
the
have
time.
one like
yes,
that.
all the time.
Uh-huh.
So stuck or unsure. So
Yeah. How do you overcome
yeah.
it?
So well, as you know, for me personally, I have super high goals, right? Like
Yeah.
like I constantly, we talked about it this week, I never reach my goal because I just don't feel satisfied. So I do feel stuck a lot of my days. Like it's like, even though I've got like 6 or 7 under contract right now, I should have 10, so it's
That chase for more.
yes.
More.
Yes. So this Wednesday's coaching was good to hear.
We talked happy culture versus hustle culture.
Right.
And like you're one of those outlier weirdos that is happy when they're hustling.
That's 100% right. Like
Yeah.
I feel super satisfied when I am running 90-0 and I'm just constantly busy. That's just how I am. So with that being said, when I have downtime, I feel super unproductive. Am I doing what's right? Because why is my phone not ringing? So things like that enter your head, and mindset, which you talked about a bunch recently, is gigantic. I mean, it's gigantic in this industry. So
Yeah. So are you actively working on taking better care of that part of you, where you're not running it at 90 all the time?
I am actively trying to work out it.
Actively working on it.
Yes. I do work 6, maybe 7 days a week, 6.5 probably days a week. I take off for church and then I go to open houses. So anyways, I know I need to work on it a little better and have that downtime mentally, as well as for my family, so I can operate at 100% for them as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this is something that you've been challenged on recently.
Yes.
That's not easy to overcome, but you're working at it.
You're right. It is not easy to overcome because I do want to be very successful at this business. I absolutely love it. I love the change that I've done from the industry that I was in to where I'm at now. As silly and corny as it does sound, I do enjoy the helping people and at the closing table, them thanking you so deeply for the process that they experienced.
Yeah.
I know not every transaction is smooth and it's tough and there's sometimes a lot of emotion tied to it. I had a lady this week that I had a closing on, her mother passed away. I helped her sell her house. We sold it in just a couple days. She got what she needed, but it's still a very emotional transaction for her. So listening to her and being that support animal, I guess, support realtor.
Yes, emotional support realtor.
Yes, for people sometimes is extremely important, but it feels fulfilling.
Yeah, it fills that bucket.
Yes.
Okay. So then that's kind of what keeps you going.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask this.
Is my outfit too distracting?
It's a little,
okay?
but it's you, so I'm into
Okay.
it, and I actually think I have one just like that at home.
Okay.
And I wish you would have told me we could have been matching.
Oh, that's
What advice do you have for other agents going through this? Think back to this, like I'm going and I'm hustling and I'm never happy when. I'll be happy when. What advice would you give to another agent?
So
Do as I say, not as I do.
yeah, right. I know. So I know that you have ebbs and flows in your business. You have highs and lows and hills and valleys, and you need to mentally realize that. And working more or harder doesn't necessarily equal production.
Okay.
And becoming efficient, which I love that word, and I try my best to become efficient to produce more in my business. And that's the process I guess I'm in right now,
Yeah.
is trying to become more proficient and efficient at what I do so that I can produce more in a smaller window.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah.
that. All right, rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Favorite
Okay.
podcast that you're listening to right now?
So I do listen to MREA. I know that's a general, but
Okay.
yeah. I know.
It's a good one.
Yes, it is a good one. I do listen to Bigger Pockets because I do invest in real estate. It helps my mind just stay sharp, and listening to other like-minded people investing in real estate. Did you say book?
Yeah.
Book.
What's your favorite book?
So
He's leading this interview now.
Another investment. So Burr, which got me into investing, BRRR. Yeah. By David Green. So if you go to Amazon, look that up. It's an excellent book. Pretty easy read, but it gets you into the basics of how to invest and maybe push a little bit quicker or faster in your investment journey. So.
Okay. One word to describe your year. And it can't be more.
So I was gonna say more. Hi. Come on through, David. How are you, sir?
Hi. That's our next guest. Yeah. We're almost
We're
there.
almost done. Thanks.
Isn't it awesome? He dressed up. He dressed well for
I
this.
did.
All right, so
I'm gonna go shirtless then.
Okay.
that's fantastic. So one word, not more.
Not more. So to describe my year? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're 6 months in.
You know, I would have to, I don't want to say happy. Because the reason I don't want to say happy is because I'm working on being happy with the production I'm doing. So we'll go with efficient. I think
Efficient.
I am, yes. I think I am decently efficient at this job so far. I know I have a ton to learn, to get to where I want to be personally for my goals and just to become the best realtor as possible. But we'll say efficient.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Best advice you've ever gotten?
You know, I listen to a lot of Steve Harvey,
The teeth?
the teeth guy, the guy that has 1 million shows, right?
Okay.
And the reason I do, he actually has a YouTube motivational channel.
Steve Harvey does?
Yes. So
Okay.
after every one of his shows, he'll take X amount of minutes and just talk to the audience, and it's usually Christian centered.
Okay.
But very motivational. So one of the things that he said, which I do every single day, is don't forget to pray. And I get it if that isn't for some people. However, for me and for my business and for my family, don't forget to pray is something that I try to live by. Now, when I apply that to my business, man, I pray blessing, favor, God smile on my business, help me, make these people's day the best I can as far as through their transaction. Help me be the best realtor that I can for these people. Help me be the best negotiator. Bring business into my lap overflowing. but you're going to provide me people to be able to grow and be able to handle that business. I want business that I feel like I can't handle, but God, you're going to provide me people in my life to be able to handle that business.
Oh, I love this.
So I truly pray that every single solitary day, because I have an extreme discipline in the mornings, that I get up at 6 o'clock Monday through Sunday, and I drink my coffee and I have my time with the Lord.
Exactly how many cups?
Exactly 2 cups.
That's what I thought.
Yep, and you don't even want to know how many times I turn things. And
We won't get into all that.
Yeah, however, don't forget to pray,
Okay.
because it makes a gigantic impact on your life, your family, you as a person, and it can 100% impact your business.
Love it. All right. Thank you so much, Brent Bowers.
Yes.
You are a pleasure.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you.